into number 10, we have Up Close and Personal with Area 51. In September 2017, YouTube channel UFO Seekers did just that. They sought UFOs. What did they find? Well, you will see. Tim Lee and Tracy Doyle hiked up Tickaboo Peak, a 1.4-mile high mountain 25 miles opposite the military base. The duo used telescopic lenses to get the clearest possible photos of the secret base ever taken from outside by just a civilian. Although you can't see little aliens running around or anything, there are plenty of vehicles to be seen, plus an expansive building and water towers. It isn't too scary, but the video is super interesting, how they got there and everything, and actually it's quite tense. Had they been caught by authorities taking long lens images, then they really could have been in trouble. The video is 18 minutes long, but here is a clip of the YouTubers finding the base. The video has had over 2.4 million views. Perhaps the Kyles are watching it to swat up for their attack planned on the 20th of September. Kyles. Coming in at number 9, we have Even Closer, if you can imagine it. This is one of the closest ever images taken of Area 51. It was taken from a light aircraft and is in the Nevada Aerospace Hall of Fame right now. Here we can see a much closer overview of the whole compound, something that would have been classified just a few years ago. Coming into number 8, we have the airstrip. In 2013, some documents about Area 51 were declassified, although many criticized the response to the Freedom of Information request to having been underwhelming, featuring heavily redacted information. Nonetheless, in 2016, the US did permit Google Earth to photograph the area, which had previously been a no-fly zone. Now you too can view the facility from a bird's eye view. You can check it out and see what's going on, although from very high in the sky. From browsing Google, around 12 miles north of Area 51, there seems to be an unexplained airstrip coming in at around 1 mile long. There is also a visible cluster of buildings at the end of the strip, which is kind of baffling. We've got no idea what's being tested here. According to intel from the website Live Science though, it is thought that the space could be used to test reconnaissance drones. Coming into number 7, we have the Paradise trailers. Area 51 used to be colloquially known as Paradise Ranch in order to make it sound more appealing to families of workers. I suppose it's a lot to ask a person to relocate to the middle of the desert, so why not rebrand the place Paradise and make it sound more appealing? An image has been released of the Paradise era showing a number of trailers at the facility. Is this where families lived, or was it home to aliens? It's kinda cool seeing how things used to be in its heyday, assuming its heyday's over. We just don't know. Alright, coming into number 6, this is the big one. It is the alien autopsy. The alien autopsy was reportedly shot in Area 51 and depicts the aliens that were transported to the facility from Roswell after the 1947 crash. The crash was said to have been of a flying disc UFO and was said to have contained wounded aliens. The video was released in 1995 by Ray Santilli, who said that the footage had been supplied to him by a former military camera technician who wanted to remain anonymous. Obviously. Let's have a little look at the footage, shall we? I mean, that is a dead alien right there, right? But like, is it? The footage absolutely blew up in 1995, but people were quick to call it a fraud. In the end, Santilli claimed that yeah, only part of the footage was real. He said that only a few frames from the original footage were there, but they were there. He also said the rest had been replicated and was a reconstruction of footage he had but was damaged. Sounds likely. Coming into number 5, we have the Roswell rescue. Footage claiming to be from the Roswell fallout surfaced on the internet in 2015 and alleges to show agents holding alien corpses and taking them on a stretcher. Have a little look. 1947, so we can't expect too much film-wise, but I'm not sure this is quite the smoking gun we were looking for. The video has had around 160,000 views on YouTube, but the like to dislike ratio suggests that some people may not be too convinced as to its authenticity. One of my favourite comments on the video comes from Mr. Saturday Night Special, who wrote, "This has to be real. Everyone knows when you travel across the universe you don't wear clothes, just ask Chewbacca. He'll tell you." You're right! You know what, are we the only species that like to cover our modesty? All of these aliens crashing, like, where are their little alien suits? Come on. Coming into number 4, we have Kodak confirms, allegedly anyway. In 2014, a UFO expert, Tom Carey, was sent images from a woman who wished to remain anonymous, but claimed that she had worked with the Secret Service. The image was reportedly taken at Area 51 following the Roswell crash, and seems to show a bug-like alien. Let's have a look, shall we? The image seems to support what a number of people who used to work at the Area 51 have said about the facility, including Robert Lazar and staff members from the esteemed Lockheed Martin firm. But like, seriously, come on, is this an actual image of an alien? Can we trust anything in the age of Photoshop? It seems that Carey thought of that and sent the image to Kodak themselves, who were able to confirm that it was taken in 1947. Again, allegedly. If they sent him a letter saying this, then I haven't seen it. When speaking to the press, Carey said, "What's interesting is that the film is dated in 1947. We took it to the official historian of Kodak up in Rochester, New York, and he did his due diligence on it, and he said that yes, this film strip and the slides are from 1947. It's 1947 stock. From the emulsion on the image, it's not something like's been photoshopped today. If Kodak did call this authentic, I haven't seen any certification." Coming into number 3, we have another alien, of course. In 2012, Chicago videographer Adam Dew received a call from his former business partner Joseph Beeson. He claimed that he had something to show him, and boy did he. Beeson had a private disposal unit sister, and she'd come across a box of photographs that seemed to have been taken by someone close to President Eisenhower. He was in a number of the images himself, as were Bing Crosby and Clark Gable. 2 of the images she had been tasked with disposing were absolutely outrageous. Get a load of them for yourself. That's right, it is a small withered brown body of an alien in a glass case. And this was all among the images of the president, which is pretty crazy. The images were found in the garage of a woman named Hilda Blair Ray near Sedona in Arizona. Now, the pair did believe that the images were linked to Area 51 and Roswell. They sent the images to none other than Tom Carey. Tom once again believed that the images looked just like what witnesses had described in the Roswell crash. Let's have another look, shall we? It really does kind of look like an alien wrapped in some kind of cloth, but unfortunately for Tom Carey, the image turned out to be of a mummified corpse of an Aztec child, and not a secret leak from Area 51. Our final 2, I have to say, are pretty convincing. It's not alien stuff, but I do think that these are secret pictures from Area 51. Coming into number 2, we have the strange plane. Here's an image of something that looks like a strange aircraft, or something reportedly taken at Area 51 anyway. It is known that the United States Air Force is present at the facility, and several spy planes have been developed there, including the U-2 spy plane and the SR-71 Blackbird, and possibly others like the rumoured Aurora project. So, what is the plane in this image? I don't actually know. Could it be one of the alien aircraft that allegedly whistleblower Bob Lazar talked about reverse engineering? Or is it another spy plane? Finally, coming into number 1, we have an image of a secret plane crash covered up. It seems an A-12 spy plane, possibly the one pictured above, crashed in 1963 after taking off from the secret airbase. The crash happened in Wendover, Utah, when Area 51 pilot Ken Colmer was testing the plane's subsonic engines at low altitude. The pilot ejected from the plane crash, after which he was subjected to hypnosis and doping to make sure that he relayed the incident and how it occurred honestly and truthfully. Here are the previously classified images of the crash. Now, as you can see, vehicles raced to recover the wreckage, which was extremely sensitive to the United States Air Force. It seems a government sanitation team was deployed to remove all traces of the spy plane. To me, that sounds very, very strange. So too does it that they kept the images status of this plane crash a secret for such a long time? Do you think it really was a spy plane that crashed, or, given the response, something much more sensitive? Alright, coming in at number 10, we have the blast-off chair. This is officially a declassified black and white image of a secret Air Force project taking place in the desert land surrounding Area 51. In this image we can see the United States Air Force running a very exciting test indeed. We see a car and an aerodynamic looking vehicle together, and then a whopping great chair that seems to have blasted off with a person in it. Maybe it's the dummy. Up and away. The plane-like vehicle says Test 24 on it and has a camera monitoring it. We don't know exactly what's happening here. I think context, I imagine, would be key, but we don't have any. If you think that mountain range looks familiar, here it is again at number 9. Coming into number 9, we have the silver disc over the mountains. Sounds like a band name or a good album name. Further back, but clearly in the same sort of area topography speaking, I came across an image of a man taking a picture of a strange silver disc in the sky. The image is purportedly from Area 51, and it certainly looks like it could be. I'm aware that this image very much could be photoshopped, very easily photoshopped, but perhaps the story I have to tell you will inspire you to give it the benefit of the doubt. There is a road near Area 51 that has been renamed the Extraterrestrial Highway. It's a 100-mile stretch of State Route 375 near Rachel, Nevada. It was given its whimsical rebranding in 1996. Along this highway, countless people have reported seeing mysterious lights in the sky, especially during the 80s and 90s. Even today, night drivers are baffled by the so-called moving stars. Could it be a UFO similar to that allegedly in this picture? Maybe. But what might this be at number 8? We have what I can only describe as the metal wall. This image was posted in National Geographic and is a declassified image from Area 51. The footnote on the image reads, "Full-scale model assembly 1159. Now this leads me to believe that this image was taken in November 1959, but honestly, I don't know that for a fact. Although the image is in black and white, which does make me think it's an oldie. While it may be an oldie, it certainly does look futuristic. This could be an early stage development of a spy plane. In fact, I'd put my money on it. Coming into number 7, we have Beam. We are not ultralight beam. We are not ultralight beam. Honestly, sometimes I do stop to wonder if Kanye West is an alien. Like, he's pretty successful whilst also being a bit strange and aloof and otherworldly. I don't want to be the one to start an unsubstantiated rumour though. Anyway, before we stray too far into salacious speculation, have a look at this ultralight beam legit image taken at Area 51, and I want to know what's going on here, and is Kanye West behind it? This black and white image was published as part of a series of declassified images of Area 51 published in National Geographic. Again, context is king, but we simply don't have any. It's hard to tell if this image was taken outdoors. It's kind of blurry and distorted from the light. It could be taken outdoors, but also that could be a curtain backdrop. I just can't tell. If it is a curtain, then perhaps this was taken in a studio, in which case what Hollywood grade stuff is being filmed at Area 51. Some people think that the moon landing was staged there, and if this is a studio with a massive model UFO, then maybe. I think I simply need more information. Coming into number 6, we have the floaters. Doesn't sound great, does it? In April 2016, large, bizarre and very much unidentified flying objects were spotted over Area 51. Allegedly, anyway. There are so many fakers and conspiracists out there that it's hard to know what to believe. 3 oblong objects were said to have been caught on film from a distance hovering over a hangar. The footage was uploaded to YouTube but has mysteriously been deleted. A still shot of the video, however, does remain. Why was the YouTube video deleted? Did we see too much? Maybe. The real question though is, what are these? Coming in at number 5, is that the TARDIS I see? The Doctor is a Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey, and he is constantly time travelling. The Doctor is a Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey, and he's constantly travelling time and space and encountering other aliens, so it stands to reason that the extraterrestrial may end up at Area 51 at some point. It seems like his TARDIS may have been spotted there in recent years. Have a look at this. Some are hailing this image taken of Area 51 legit, and actually it was taken on Google Earth. Some people think it looks like an alien tower, but others like me are straight up calling it a triangle TARDIS. You can find this image yourself if you type this into Google Earth. On estimation, this structure is around 70 feet high and 30 feet wide, and I'm wondering if, Doctor, maybe you're there. Some of the Storm Area 51 memes have been claiming ownership of the TARDIS if it's found there, and to be honest, it has been rumoured that the centre is test testing time travel, so maybe the Doctor has been captured there, or at least his spaceship. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I've always wanted to be a doctor's assistant, so if anyone's watching from casting at BBC, take me! Coming in at number 4, we have the pyramid. There are pretty nuts theories out there circulating that aliens built the pyramids. Why? Well, because it would be a feat of strength for humans even today, let alone humans of thousands of years ago. Allegedly, former Area 51 worker Bob Lazar claimed that the building contains evidence that aliens have influenced human culture for over 10,000 years, so maybe it's true. Triangles and pyramid shapes are also linked to New World Orders, and the Illuminati have also in turn been linked to extraterrestrials, so maybe there's something to it. Either way, feast your eyes on this.
Pyramid. This is from Google Earth. You could look it up yourself. You just look up the coordinates.
A Google Earth image of what looks like a pyramid inside Area 51, right here. Curiouser and curiouser. For those of you who want to look at this yourself, put these coordinates into Google Earth. Some people think that this is proof that Area 51 is harvesting alien technology. Other people think that the structure has a much more normal explanation. What do you think? Let me know. Some classic Area 51 conclusion stuff here at number 3, we have the morgue. Of all of the pictures on this list, of this one I am perhaps the most skeptical, but it is a true classic. This is one of those proof of aliens for reals images circulated in the 1990s. It's kind of a lot like the alien autopsy video. This image was said to have been taken by a whistleblowing worker of Area 51 and leaked to the press. The only thing is that alien bodies like this are so easy to fake. In fact, even the alien in the alien autopsy video was a model, so these very well could be too. Creepy models that I wouldn't want anywhere near me. Still though, the image could have been staged and taken anywhere in the world, and honestly, it probably was. That being said, maybe it's legit. Maybe we're trained not to believe in things like this by the powers that be that don't want us to. Coming into number 2, we have the Silver Pod. YouTube channel Explore With Us ventured to the land surrounding Area 51 in June 2017. The channel shared exclusive footage with their 700,000 strong following, which claimed to show abandoned secret tunnels around Area 51, which looked something like this. Weird. To me that looks like an old sneaky cheeky secret rail tunnel, and I'm wondering what it was used for, like smuggling aliens in and out? Later on in their adventure, the YouTubers also spotted this very odd sight hidden in the trees. Take a look. To me it looks like a silver ball on a triangular plinth. Also, it's in the hills surrounding a top secret facility. What does this really mean? Is it some kind of alien communication device, or watching device, or listening device? So many devices it could be. Okay, finally, do you want to see a very scary sight from Area 51? Check this out at number 1, and perhaps let it be a warning. We have the bikers.
Centimeters?
I knew you should. I know.
Listen, we're gonna give you guys a chance, okay? Get on your bikes, get the out of here. We'll call Lincoln County and they'll write you each a $750 ticket.
Okay.
Have you ever wondered what would happen if you just rolled up at Area 51 and tried to see them aliens? Perhaps a little precursor to the whole Storm Area 51 thing. I wouldn't recommend it for this very reason. Meet the bikers who were about to be met with bullets, but made a very lucky escape. Dramatic footage was uploaded to YouTube of a biker group who rode up to Area 51, kinda brazenly. As you can see from these images, they were met with quote-unquote camo dudes. The camo dudes come from nowhere in a white jeep and quickly jump out and point firearms at the intruders. The guards tell the guys to get the F out of there. The video from MacD Adventures has had over 7 million views, people love it. This isn't the only instance of this kind of response caught on camera either. YouTube channel Third Phase of the Moon uploaded this video featuring this hairy moment. So that's a response that people get when it's just a few of them swinging by Area 51. What if 3 million people did turn up and quote-unquote storm it? I mean, if you're gonna have guns pointed at just a handful of people, what? would the government do? Honestly, it's a question that I'm not sure we want answered. Coming in at number 10, we have the Roswell images. Now these are the most famous pictures of aliens supposedly ever taken, although they have widely been hailed as a hoax. In 1947, the official story goes that a United States Army Air Force's balloon crashed into a ranch in Roswell, New Mexico. Ufologists were saying that the crash was actually a flying saucer and that these aliens are what came from the wreckage. The conspiracy goes that the aliens were taken to Area 51 where they were tested and probed by the United States government. Some former employees have sworn this was the situation. Between 1947 and 1970, interest in Roswell was at an all-time high. These days it has largely been put to bed as a myth.
Blockbuster film Independence Day to the TV series Roswell and a two-part X-Files episode. In 1995, the Roswell incident was back in the headlines when Alien Autopsy, Fact or Fiction, aired on network television. It showed what was said to be military doctors performing an autopsy on an alien corpse recovered from the Roswell crash in 1947.
Well, next up, this absolutely sent the internet into a frenzy, didn't it? At number 9, we have the Reddit reveal. In 2015, a scary picture was posted on Reddit of what looks like a dead baby animal. What animal? We just don't know, but it certainly looks recently deceased to me. The caption for this image was, "Friend found this outside her house, WTF?" Like, what even is this? Is this some kind of alien that crash landed outside a person's home? Or a deformed baby something? A deformed baby alien, maybe? Some people say that it is a deer fetus, others are saying that it's a straight up alien. I guess it's hard to silence someone after a picture's already gone viral on Reddit. One commenter wrote, "I've seen this movie before. Everyone dies." Yikes. Coming into number 8, is this an alien in Portugal? An image of a strange man-like creature slowly strolling through a desert in Portugal surfaced in 2016 with footage to boot. The creature has a bent back, a small head and long arms and legs. The alien-like creature seems reasonably camouflaged with their surroundings in the desert. The camera then pans over the rest of the desert, which helps add some authenticity to the footage. What is this creature? Coming in at number 7, we have the grey alien from the Zeta Reticuli star system. Zeta Reticuli is supposed to be around 39 light years away from Earth, so if there were aliens there, it would make sense to be in touch with them. Alleged leak footage of top secret UFO and alien probes were uploaded to YouTube in 2011 by Ivan0135. He said that some images he was using were from an anonymous source who wished to remain that way for their own safety. As we can see, the purported alien has a large head and is wearing tight-fitted clothing. This is a lot like the often described aliens by alien encounturists. The emblem at the beginning of the footage seems to resemble the Soviet Union's KGB top-secret archive logo from the 1960s. Coming into number 6, these alien pictures have only just been made public. In 2017, video footage thought to have been shot in 1992 in Eiger, Switzerland surfaced in the public domain. Apparently discovered on the dark web, the video was labelled as EBE 1992 Eiger. It looks as if the video was shot very quickly in clandestine circumstances, so perhaps a lab worker or research worker hoping to document the secret laboratory without permission. The video is made up of a series of images, most of which look to be of a naked alien body. The alien has a spooky little face and looks to have pale white or grey skin. It seems like the alien is being experimented upon, and indeed one of the pictures shows the figure on a wire, leading many to speculate it was electrocuted. Why the footage was lost for 26 years? We aren't sure, but the real question is, why did it resurface? Did Google Earth capture their first alien abduction? One man swears it did, and find out what happened at number 5. In January 2017, a man said that he was abducted by aliens the year before, and he could prove it as it was captured and recorded by Google Earth. Do the images finally validate the hundreds, maybe even thousands of historical reports of abductions? John Mooner of Torquay in Devon claims that the images exist of an alien punching him in the face and then abducting him. Here is the satellite image in question. Mooner says it clearly shows him being punched as a craft with lights waited to take him on board. It's grainy, but I guess we could use our imagination here. We reached out to Google for a comment, but they didn't reply. Do they know of aliens? Were they aware of this image? Or is it a weird fluke? Are these aliens or crash dummies at number 4? While the insides of research facilities should never be photographed due to strict national security rules, one worker at one of these high security facilities chanced it and snapped this photo, saying that the image shows aliens. To me, it seems that these aliens were probably nothing but anthropomorphic test dummies. Nonetheless, some still think that these are alien robot creatures hanging on a rack. I personally think it's pretty clear that they aren't, but I guess some people are convinced. This is one of the least convincing on this list though. Does this picture show Roswell Mark II? Coming in at number 3, we have this leaked NASA picture of a flying saucer. Have a look at this. This image taken from the Roswell report looks like a balloon alongside a flying saucer. Classic alien stuff, and exactly what people were saying was an alien spaceship, although the Air Force denied it. This image echoes what people said happened at Roswell. The image seems to have been taken at a training field, also possibly in the New Mexico desert. The image is thought to show a high-altitude balloon and the aero shell of a NASA Voyager Mars space probe prior to launch. Only it does look exactly like a flying saucer. The date at the bottom of the image is from the 22nd of August 1967. 20 years after Roswell. Coming into number 2, we have the Atacama Mummy. The Atacama Mummy was discovered in 2003 in the Atacama Desert in Chile. The corpse, named Ata for short, is 6 inches long and has long since baffled scientists as to what exactly it is they're looking at. The miniature mummy body is tiny and deformed, with some thinking it is the remains of a sadly mutated child, with others thinking it's straight up an alien corpse. Professor Hal Crow of the International Journal of Paleopathy wrote that there was no evidence of any deformity, and if anything, the skeleton was normal for whatever creature it belongs to. Others fired criticism at the team examining the skeleton, saying it was unclear how old the corpse is. A lot of people are convinced by the pictures of Ata. They think that it is a true alien skeleton. When did this alien visitation and landing take place? I mean, we just don't know. Finally, coming into number 1, we have a cigar-shaped spaceship snapped by none other than Neil Armstrong himself. Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon and was under some kind of gagging order, or so many conspiracists say. It is reported by some that the astronaut saw UFOs while he was on the Apollo 11 mission. This picture was said to have been taken by the famous explorer himself. Some say the crew of the Apollo mission claimed that they saw bright lights and some kind of object racing them. The image looks somewhat like a cigar-shaped aircraft, but when the astronauts got back to Earth, Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon, reported he saw something moving. He said that lights were up there with them and that some kind of spacecraft was possibly racing them. Later he backtracked, saying there were plenty of explanations as to what that could be. Now, was this leaked picture taken by Neil Armstrong, and what does it show? To me, it kind of looks like Oumuamua, the cigar-shaped comet that passed over Earth in October 2017. Is Oumuamua actually a spaceship, and is it a big government cover-up? Maybe. Alright, coming in at number 10, we have fake clouds. You what? How can you fake a cloud? It is thought that meteorologists at Area 51 are thought to have experimented with cloud seeding in order to help solve the country's water issue. The theory is here that chemicals are dropped into clouds from planes to try and make them produce rain. Like, please rain. Other theories say that science buffs at Area 51 are actually trying to mass produce hurricanes and storms so they can send them as weapons into enemy countries, which I think is a bit extreme. People think that the government could be trying to harness the power of natural disasters. How can an enemy retaliate to a tsunami when they don't know that it was America's fault? I don't know though. So is the government testing weather control at Area 51? Would they unleash controlled weather events across their own country? Maybe. This also kind of reminds me of the whole chemtrails conspiracy theory. Didn't that have to do with something about planes and chemicals? Coming into number 9, we have secret transport. Another theory is that the United States government has created a secret underground high-speed transportation system that runs in tunnels across America. A number of people have suggested that there are high-speed railways underground connecting far-flung parts of the country. Theorists also say that there is a secret runway for planes known as the Cheshire Airstrip. This is named after the disappearing Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. Some people think it is visible only when water is sprayed on it from a certain angle, but that doesn't really make a lot of sense, although to be fair, it's Area 51, we already have a lot of questions. Okay, so speaking about the airstrip, I'm kind of led on into this at number 8. We have space planes. I I'm almost certain that there are top secret aeroplanes being developed at Area 51. There have been numerous rumors about spy planes and space planes for years. Back in 1989, people began believing that Area 51 was home to a super fast cutting-edge spy plane called Aurora. They believed it could travel 3 times the speed of a Concorde, which is fast. In recent years, strange sonic booms have been heard across the world, especially in London and New York. They have been linked to secret Area 51 developments. Now people think that Area 51 is the launch pad of space planes that fly to the stratosphere, so not detected on military radars, in order to spy on countries below. Space planes! Coming into number 7, time machines. Has the United States government secretly been working to generate time travel? There have been historic reports of time travelers, example the woman in the Charlie Chaplin movie, the W Man. I feel like I've read so many accounts of time travelers in like The Sun and the Daily Mail, and I can't even. Everyone seems to dismiss them as like fame hungry or just nut jobs, but maybe they are legit. Maybe they're time traveling through Area 51. Also, has anyone seen the movie Hot Tub Time Machine? Because like, I am sure that there is something fun and bubbly we could add to this top secret project. Ooh, taking a nasty turn at number 6, we have nuclear weapons. Is Area 51 radioactive? It seems that the site has been pegged as a possible location for secret nuclear testing. A lot of people believe that the United States government has carelessly tested nuclear weapons around Area 51. We do know that the government carried out over 1,000 nuclear tests between 1945 and 1992. Investigative journalist Annie Jacobson actually uncovered details of a Project 57. She says that nuclear weapons were tested near Area 51 and there was a disastrously lax nuclear cleanup. She claims in her book that nuclear waste was buried in the ground but contaminated Nevada's soil. While the United States is not officially still testing nuclear weapons, some people do think that actually it is still happening, just underground, under Area 51. Somebody's taken a leaf out of Kim Jong-un's book, or perhaps he took a leaf out of America's book. Coming in at number 5, we have freeze ray guns and laser weapons. Baba Vanga, the famous seer and blind mystic, predicted that there would be a war in Rome in 2045 using freeze ray guns, which, I mean, it does sound kind of cool a bit. Are they being developed here at Area 51? What a question. I mean, anything's possible, right? A lot of people do actually believe that Area 51 is where the military is creating and testing the next generation of weapons, energy weapons. Some people think that energy weapons are being tested, including freeze ray guns and laser weapons that could vaporize people in seconds. Listen, just a theory, but maybe Area 51 is home to freaking sharks with freaking lasers on their heads, just like Dr. Evil wanted. Coming into number 4, we have prison. A hidden military base from the 1860s was found underneath Alcatraz. So what if an Alcatraz-style prison is under Area 51? Who's detained there? Allegedly, former Area 51 employee Bob Lazar claimed to have been a scientist at Area 51. Now, he was reported to have seen small grey extraterrestrials being interrogated by men in white lab coats. Another whistleblower known as Victor sensationally appeared on radio airwaves in 1997 to say that he had witnessed alien interrogation when he worked there too. So, is there a top secret alien prison under Area 51? Or perhaps it's just a regular prison but for like really bad people. Okay, sure, at number 3, this is what we've all been waiting for and I'm happy to bring it to you. We have them aliens and their technology and their spaceships. So where do I even start? Area 51 is absolutely synonymous with aliens. Long before Barack Obama confirmed that there is an Area 51, people were suspecting it to be the case anyway. Since the 1940s, alien conspiracy theories surrounding Area 51 have existed, especially following the Roswell crash. People believe that the crash was covered up and that the wreckage was taken to Area 51 for testing. A number of former employees have come forward to share their experience with grey aliens at Area 51, and others, including former Air Force worker Charles Hall, have claimed that tall white aliens frequent the site and park their spaceships in the mountainside. Hall also claimed that the aliens are in cahoots with the United States government and that they'd share secrets with them and technological information. This is also echoed in an expose by Robert Scott Lazar, who claims to have worked at reverse engineering extraterrestrial technology during his time at Area 51. He also claims that the government and aliens have been working together for thousands of years. Wider claims do say that actually the government is crossbreeding aliens with humans and creating a whole new race of engineered people, which is wild. Coming into number 2, we have the Illuminati, or the One World Government headquarters. So there have been Illuminati conspiracies and One World Government theories floating around out there for a long time. A lot of people think that the human race is governed by a group of elites that secretly manipulate goings on around the world. Conspiracist David Icke even believes that these world leaders are reptilians. A lot of theories are merged into one here, so whatever name we want to give this group of elite, could their headquarters be housed beneath Area 51? Some people think that Denver Airport could be a possible location for their secret HQ. The reason being is that it's supposed to have a bunch of secret underground tunnels, and it kind of seems convenient that airplanes fly in and out all of the time, so smuggling in the world elite wouldn't be too suspicious. But at the same time, it is for the most part a public place, so perhaps the secret Illuminati HQ is out there in the desert. Finally, coming into number 1, we have diseases and cures. If this is true, then this is very scary for the wider implications. Some people suspect that Area 51 sits on a giant laboratory in which diseases are being fostered for use in biological warfare. But people also think that they have cures for a lot of diseases plaguing the nation, including cancer. That's right, some people think that the United States government is hiding the cure for cancer in Area 51, but will not release it because healthcare makes them so much money. In fact, healthcare is worth over $7 trillion. In 2019, at a rally, Donald Trump claimed that he was basically there with the cure for cancer, and if he gets re-elected, he'll roll it out. How? Well, maybe he'll take a trip to Area 51 and release it from the vaults, but I don't think so.
Starting off at number 10 now, we have the beginning. When it comes to explaining to aliens everything about humans, the start is, well, a good place to start. This image shows conception, a sperm cell fusing with an egg cell, which will eventually divide and become a fetus and then a human just like you and me. Now, when I first saw this, I worried that the aliens might not really understand what scale we're talking on here. What if they think the sperm cell is the size of a truck and the egg cell is the size of a football stadium? They may think we're giants, but no. Luckily, scientists are a lot smarter than me. On the previous slide, they explained the sizes of egg and sperm cells to show the aliens that they are very, very, very small. Coming out number 9 now, we have the location. This image explains to any reasonably intelligent aliens where exactly our solar system is. We've also included a picture of our nearest neighbor, the Andromeda Galaxy. It's hoped that this information on the slide will be enough for the aliens to figure out where we are. Of course, this is all pretty cool, but some people are a bit worried. Many feel that we shouldn't be so open about broadcasting our location to advanced life in the universe. If human history is anything to go by, technologically advanced groups rarely visit others just to say hello. Do you think people are just being paranoid with this, or should we keep our voices down in this big bad universe of ours? Moving on to number 8 now, we have the Taj Mahal. This is one of the most iconic buildings ever created. Located in India, it was built as a mausoleum for the Mughal emperor in the 1600s. So, why exactly does NASA think the aliens should want to see it? Well, they actually included a number of iconic buildings such as the Great Wall of China and the Sydney Opera House. Perhaps they're trying to show that buildings are important to us. After all, they are quite a uniquely human thing. No other animals build buildings like we build buildings. We absolutely love it. They become important to us, especially if they are grand, old, or have some historic importance to them. Will the aliens understand this, or will they find our love of buildings a strange or even primitive quality? At number 7 now, we have the womb. This is quite an interesting one. It shows the outline of a male and female couple, and the female is pregnant. This is obviously an attempt to show the aliens how we reproduce. This might seem obvious to us, but you have to remember extraterrestrial life may have a completely different way of reproducing. They might be horrified that humans grow in a womb for 9 months. Probably not horrified, but you get the idea. This slide is just one of many that attempt to show the aliens how we procreate, how we are born, and how we grow. Moving on to number 6 now, we have the animals. NASA included a number of pictures of animals on the disc. This is one of my favorites, showing wildebeest and zebras drinking alongside each other in Africa. Now, you may think it's strange to include pictures of other animals when this is about us and aliens contacting each other. However, NASA felt that it wouldn't be a true representation of Earth if they didn't include other animals too. After all, we may dominate this planet, but we're not the only ones who call it home. The pictures of animals show that we are not alone on this planet, and that perhaps we even speak on their behalf if it ever comes to a point of contact with an alien civilization. Next up at number 5 now, we have home. That's the name of this picture, taken by NASA in the 1970s. At the bottom, you can see they've included the diameter of Earth as 12,756 kilometers. This is the only full picture of Earth that was included. What will the aliens make of it? Some other slides explain what our atmosphere is made of. I'm sure they can figure out that the white bits are clouds and the blue bit is our ocean. Hopefully they know it's water. Do you think so too? Also, this brings me back to our previous point. I know some of you are a bit paranoid about alien invasions. Thanks, Hollywood. If so, do you think it's a good idea to include pictures of our planet and what exactly it's made of? Could that be used against us? I personally don't think we have to worry, but it's quite an interesting idea. Moving on to number 4 now, we have eating. Here is a man enjoying a bunch of grapes. It may look like nothing to you, but it might help aliens understand a lot about us. The universe is a big place. Aliens may be so different to us that we can't even imagine what they would be like. However, it's safe to assume that they, like us, need energy. To live is to consume energy in some form or another. Aliens might have their own unique way of getting their energy, but for us, it's food. This picture helps explain that humans and many other creatures on Earth consume food for energy so that we can survive. Hopefully they don't think we only eat grapes though. That would get pretty boring quite quickly. Next up, at number 3 now, we have tectonic. In this image, we can see 3 different Earths. The top and bottom might look unfamiliar to you. The top one is what Earth looked like when it was 1.5 billion years old. All of the continents were just kind of mushed together. Tectonic activity in the Earth's crust sent them apart from each other, drifting and crashing into each other until they resembled the middle picture. That's what Earth looks like for us today. And there's a little human hand there to show that this is the era of Earth we humans live in. The bottom one shows what Earth will look like in a further 10 million years. This is based on scientific predictions. Now you may think this is a bit redundant, but just wait. Voyager 1 could be traveling in space for millions of years. Maybe aliens won't find it for another 10 million years. Will humans even still be around then? Perhaps. Either way, our map of what the Earth will look like by then may be far more accurate than what it looks like now. Moving on to number 2 now, we have sport. This is a picture of sprinters in a race at the 1976 Olympics held in Montreal. So, why did NASA want aliens to see this one? Well, sport and competition have always been a huge part of the human story. It was competition that made us spread across the planet, and now it's sport that brings us together to compete in various events. It's a common bond that all human cultures seem to share in one way or another. This is also a contrast to the images of war and trouble that we often see on the news. This is NASA trying to show aliens that despite our differences, we are more similar than not. Call it the Olympic spirit or even the human spirit. It's a good picture to include that they can understand what exactly is going on. And finally now, at number 1, we have the cars. This picture was taken from a busy road in India. There are a few others like it that show humans with their cars. It seems like NASA wanted to show the aliens that we build things to do better jobs than we ever could. If they recognize that we constructed these cars, they may see in us a desire to reach beyond the physical limitations of our own human bodies. Perhaps this is something they will recognize in themselves too. Any aliens that find Voyager 1 will have to have plucked it from space. If that happens, there's a very good chance they will have had to use machinery just like our cars and space rockets. After all, we don't know of any living thing that can survive in space by itself forever. Perhaps they can though. Perhaps they see our obsession with machines as nothing more than filling a hole in the human condition.
Starting us off with number 10, our secrets kill. In 1994, the US Air Force and the EPA were sued by the widows of Walter Kaza and Robert Frost. The 2 contractors died while working at Area 51 because they were present when massive quantities of unknown chemicals were being burned in open pits at Groom. The men were never told what the chemicals were. They weren't even allowed to bring gas masks from home or any external equipment, just gloves. They sustained liver, skin and respiratory injuries, and that soon led to their deaths. Biochemists analyzing the men's biopsies found high levels of industrial toxins in their tissue that are rarely ever seen in humans. Of course, the women lost the case because President Clinton made Area 51 exempt from all environmental disclosure laws, and because the government never actually had to reveal what the chemicals were, so the case had insufficient evidence. I find this so unfair. It's like the case of the population of Chernobyl. Like, the people have to know what they're being exposed to, what they've gone into, so they can make their own informed decisions. You can't just put people's lives on the line. Come on people, let's think. Coming in at number 9 is the employee route. This is one of the most secret places in the world. The contractors there don't even know what materials they're working with. No civilian has ever been inside. Presidents in the past have even requested to know more, like the place is an enigma. And if you thought the employees working there would at least have the real tea, well, you're still half wrong again. National security wanted to make 100% sure Area 51's employees wouldn't ever be able to make it to work without a roadmap, so they came up with a plan. Workers show up to a certain spot in Las Vegas every day and actually get flown into work so they can't remember how to get there. Forget the employees, they had to minimize other people's suspicion and curiosities as well. I mean, employees could easily be followed, so they prevented it completely. Imagine being flown into work every day. Usually I'd say what a life, but in this case I'm really not too sure. And to top it all off, all employees are paid in cash only and have to sign their receipt with a fake name since they're part of a black project. At number 8 we have Dreamland. Before the site gained all this fame with Area 51, it was actually called Dreamland. Weird, I know. I only know of one other Dreamland and it's a water park, not an alien conspiracy site. When it was Dreamland, there weren't all these spooky, freaky stories surrounding it. It didn't make people run for the hills like it does now. It was initially called Dreamland because it was meant to be a quiet place where workers could do their job, mind their own business, and not be called out for being aliens. I don't know whose idea it was to call it Dreamland. Maybe they thought all their dreams would come true if they got all these military jets, right, or these nuclear weapons, or if they dominated other planets. I don't know. That's why they did all this testing, right? But even then, I still don't see the link between military training and aircraft testing and Dreamland. It's probably Dreamland for someone, but that's definitely not me. Filling our number 7 slot is the landing strip, and we can thank Google Earth Images for this one. Back in 2016, it revealed a strange mile-long landing strip located in Area 6, which is about 12 miles northeast of Area 51. There's also a cluster of hangars at the end of the runway, which is quite odd, and if you don't know what a hangar is, it's basically a building that houses aircrafts. No one knows what's being tested there and why the hell they have a mile-long runway. It looks sus, and based on my previous video about what the government is hiding in Area 51, this is the fully functional alien airport I was talking about. Check that video out if you haven't already. Now at number 6 is Paradise Ranch. So of course there are a number of employees that work at Area 51, and regardless of how high up you were or how much you enjoyed your job, living in the middle of nowhere in the desert is boring. During its heyday when it was a testing site for the U-2 aircraft, an engineer called Kelly Johnson tried to rebrand the area to try and convince more government workers to move there with their families, so he came up with Paradise Ranch. Far from paradise, it was actually just an area filled with rows of trailers for families to live in. That is literally it. No amenities even. I mean, at least build a grocery store or a pool. I don't know how they named it Paradise Ranch. That's the biggest fake news if you ask me. And either way, clearly the ghost town trailer area remained a ghost town trailer area. Even the picture of it just gives me the creeps. Coming in at number 5 is the picture. There are barely any aerial pictures of Area 51 at all, and in 1974 astronauts on Skylab 4 were taking pictures of Earth for a larger project, and they happened to take a picture of Area 51. Honestly, you can't even see anything in the picture but the lake and terrain, but soon after a memo went around to them saying they had specific instructions to not do this, and that this was the only location which had such an instruction. They want to keep this so under wraps. The CIA considers Area 51 to be the most sensitive spot on Earth, so apparently now we can't even take pictures of it from space. I mean, can the CIA control what we do in space? I don't think so. At number 4 is The Fire. Most of you know Tom DeLonge as the lead singer of Blink-182, but what you may not know is that he's now an alien hunter. A few years ago he went camping near Area 51 and things got real. During one night he woke up at around 3 AM and his body felt weird. It felt like static electricity was coursing through his body, and when he finally opened his eyes, he realized at least his fire was still going, but there also seemed to be noises coming from outside his tent. And it wasn't just one sound, it sounded like it was coming from 20 people. Immediately he was thinking, right, I'm about to get abducted, here they are, they're not gonna hurt me, they're just talking He tried to listen in on what they were saying, but he coincidentally passed out and woke up to find he had no idea what had happened in the last 3 hours. And having done a ton of research on the topic, Tom knew this chatter was involved in every alien contact or abduction story, so I mean he was this close. Filling our number 3 slot is the Battle, and hold on because it's definitely not the Battle you're thinking of. The Sheehan family has owned Groom Mine, which is a segment of Area 51, for more than 125 years. The US Air Force has been trying to buy the land off them for a very long time, offering them $5.2 million for more than 400 acres of land. They're adamant on kicking them out because even though they've been escorting the family into the space for decades, they can no longer ensure their safety. The base runs 24/7 and sometimes they even cancel missions when the family comes out, which stop being financially viable. On the other side, the family claimed it's not the tests that pose a threat, it's the military themselves. Bullets were even fired around their property in the 40s in an attempt to get them to leave. Family members have even been held at gunpoint on their own property, which the Air Force denies, and the family even tried to sue them but ran out of money. They no longer own the land that generations had worked so hard to obtain, and I think that puts into perspective that when Area 51 is concerned, anything goes. Now at number 2 is the Humming. Back in 1965, Charlie Arundel was working as a security guard at a mine near Area 51, and on 2 consecutive nights he was told to shoot anything he saw on sight. Him and a few other guards were driven to another airstrip and told to guard it. The first night they all heard a weird, almost muted humming sound for half an hour, and when the sound stopped, their shifts ended as well. But as they were leaving, they saw a huge circular camouflage tent on the runway surrounded by armed troops with their backs to it. The next night they heard the sound again, but this time the tent was nowhere to be found. Now I can't confirm what Charlie saw because I wasn't there, but I feel like he was bussed to the mile-long airstrip, also known as the functioning alien airport, and was told to protect the vessel as well as potentially kill anyone or anything that comes off of it. And finally, at number 1 is the BBC invasion. Breaking into Area 51 can end up in many ways. Number 1, the camo dudes can just shoot you. Number 2, you can get fined for $1,000 and go to jail for 6 months, or 3, they sacrifice you to the aliens because you've seen too much. Never thought jail would sound good until now. Either way, this team of journalists from BBC learned this the hard way when in 2012 they broke into the site looking for a juicy story. Anything for the team, my friends. After filming for around 30 minutes, one of the crewmen knocked on a door and 8 camo dudes, which is their official name by the way, I'm actually not bullshit, came out with assault rifles and forced the crew to the ground. They all had to lie face down with guns to their backs for 3 hours until the sheriff came. All their phones, film equipment, microphones, everything were taken away from them, and that's not even the worst part. Amongst the many threats the crew received, one was exceptionally scary. "Son, we could make you disappear and your body will never be found." And I honestly don't doubt they could do that for a second.